On this battle, we have the Dell Optiplex Twins. On the left, we have the Optiplex 990 with Intel i5-2400, clock at 3.1 and boost at 3.4. 8GB of memory and 250GB HDD and a USB 3 card. On the right, we have his little twin brother, the Optiplex 790, also with Intel i5-2400, 8GB of memory and 250GB of HDD. Which one is the best for you toddler gaming? Seriously, the main difference between them is the Optiplex 990 has an Intel chipset Q67, support RAID and have a 265W power supply. The 790 is an Intel chipset Q65 and a 240W power supply. I got those two desktops free from an office closure, quite old but still some life left in them. Whenever I get a used desktop or laptop, I always pass some tests to make sure everything is working properly. Here I'm using PC Check. I can also run stress tests like a lot of other YouTubers I saw doing, but I'm not going to wait 8 hours of a stress test and still don't know if something is failing in it. With PC Check, at least I know if there's something defect right away, either one stick of memory or storage going to fail, etc. I don't mean the stress test is bad, it's that it's pro and it have its con, and I feel PC Check feel the missing con of stress tests. Big plus for PC Check, I don't need to install Windows on a PC or I need to install any driver or stress test software then run the stress test. I just plug my bootable USB stick, boot on it, select the test I want to be done, and there's also a stress test in it if I want to. And all that without needing to have to install Windows. If you really want to test the thermal on your PC, then yes, a stress test will be the best choice. Now let's upgrade. To begin, say sorry for the camera angle and not so good lighting. Both will be upgraded with a Kingston A400 to 40GB, which I got at $22 Canadian, 16GB of DDR3 because I had it wandering around, but 8GB should suffice. And low profile ATI R5 240 with 1GB of DDR3. I had to remove the full-size bracket to put the low-profile bracket. I didn't have in stock with me, so I had to order on eBay, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to just leave it like this, which I got two for $10 on local ads Kijiji. My total cost for all this upgrade was 54 Canadian. Installation is simple. Open the side panel, remove the DVD drive, then the HDD tray, open the extension card clip holder, just add your SSD. In my case, I also removed the HDD since I won't use it. And your memory, add your graphic card, clip back the card holder, put back the HDD tray, the DVD, the side panel. Since it was used graphic cards, I quickly test them with PC Check off camera. Even only turning on the PC and have a picture on the screen doesn't mean it's not defect.
Few inches later.
Since both PC are almost identical, I'm going to install Windows on one with all its update drivers and graphic driver. Then I'm going to use Acronis imaging tools to make a quick copy of the storage. I boot from a USB stick with both SSD in one system, choose tool, choose cloning feature, the source SSD, which is where Windows is installed, and the destination SSD, which will go into the other system. It took about 5 minutes to copy everything, install the SSD in the other system, boot it. It may install some few more driver because it's not the exact same chipsets. One is an Intel Q65, the other is Q67. The PC may reboot a few times. Once done, you can check if your BIOS is up to date and update if necessary. And now let's test some benchmark. Part 1 of benchmarking. Here are the first 4 titles of this testing. First title is Speed Brawl, a title released in 2018. It can run with everything at high and still get 60 FPS. I mean, not everyone is playing AAA title, so you don't need to spend hundreds of dollars to play games. Look at this one. It's not GTA 5 or Fortnite or Apex Legends, but that little R5 240 still can play recent game. Second title is Brawlhalla. This came out in 2017. It also can run everything at high and get 60 FPS. This free title requires really low PC spec to run, like potato specs. My guess is sweet potatoes. Look at the requirements. They literally didn't even list the GPU or CPU. Put a 2 gig stick into a potato and you are good to go. Third title is Castle Crasher, one of my favorite. Came out in 2012, all I at 369 FPS, nice. You can play co-op 4-player. Let's say you get 4 of those computers to play with your friends and quaff some beer. It will cost you 104 Canadian or 80 US. You will have money left to get your quaffing poison for you and your friend. Fourth, it's Have a Nice Death. Came out as an early access this year. It's quite a new title, it's not really out yet. Still, we were navigating between 50 and 60 FPS. Nice little title, I like the humor they put in it. No stuttering, no tearing, no crashes like we had when we test the Intel UHD G1. Part 2 of benchmarking. Here are 4 more titles in this testing. Fifth game is Omega Striker, a brand new title that came out 2 months ago. Everything at high setting, even if minimum they require R7 3070 2GB, the R5 240 1GB was getting FPS in the low 40s. For that type of game, it's really playable. I'm not really good at it yet, I lost the game 5-0, but hey, it's a free to play, and on a budget to play game, free games are the best games. Sixth is Multiversus, another free game who came out this summer. Another copy of a Super Smash Bros. But with other of your favorite character. This one, the R5 240, was able to run all at high, but at a low 20 FPS. To get good FPS, I had to drop some setting, but still highly playable, and it's free to play. Seventh, we have Hollow Knight, an overwhelmingly positive review game on Steam. Came out in 2017, all at high, and I was able to play between 50 to 60 FPS. A really well-made game, worth spending the money on this really cheap title. Won't break the bank and you will have a lot of fun with it. 8th place, we have Duke Nukem. Yes, you heard right, Duke Nukem. Minimum requirement is HD 2600, which is 200% less performing than my R5 240, and still I had a hard time running more than 20 FPS, plus all the crap software needed to make it run. All settings are at low or medium, some settings didn't change anything graphically or FPS number. A real pain. Ultimately, it's a desktop I prepare for my kids, 3 and 5 years old. I think that infamous Optiplex Office PC of 2011 will be more than enough to play their current needs, and I only spent 54 Canadian. That's a budget gaming PC for you, that can game, at 50 FPS on top of that. Like I said, everything can play game, just a matter of what it can play, and for my preschoolers, to run Dr. Panda Goes to School, I could have a stay with Intel UHD and still run the game perfectly and save another $10 Canadian Monopoly dollar. Thanks to have watched this video of mine, I had a lot of fun to make it. If you like this kind of video, let me know below. Like it if you do, sub if you want. Next video, I received more free PC parts. Come back to see what I got in those boxes.